You ever get that feeling that the whole football universe flips on its head from one week to the next? That's exactly where we are today, with locker room drama bubbling, behind-the-scenes tension boiling, and a twist that could shake the entire Dolphins season. We're talking about a guy who might not suit up again this year, another who could spark this offense like lighter fluid, and an opponent limping into a fight they're not ready for. Is this finally when everything clicks? You won't believe what we've got lined up, so slide in, hit that like button, and let's get right to it. You know when something just feels off, like there's a weird buzz in the air? That's the vibe Dolphins fans have been living with these last few days. James Daniels, the veteran brought in to stabilize the offensive line, might be done for the season. 3 snaps, that's all we got before that pec injury against the Colts. And since then, it's been nothing but silence and a whole lot of unease. And now, for the first time, Mike McDaniel pretty much admitted he has no clue if Daniels returns in 2025. It's a tough pill to swallow. Early on, McDaniel tried to keep things positive, saying the injury was sort of manageable and the team just needed to clear the mandatory 4-week window. 11 weeks later, the tune has changed completely. Now it's all uncertainty. And the strangest part is that McDaniel won't attach any kind of timeline. You don't need to be a doctor to recognize that this screams setback. Fans didn't hold back. Social media lit up instantly. Some folks get that injuries happen, but a big chunk of the fan base is starting to question whether the investment made any sense. Daniel signed a 3-year deal, and for the second straight season he's barely played. And it doesn't help that he lost an entire year back in Chicago with basically the same injury. That's a lot of coincidence for one career. So what does this mean for Miami strategically? First, stability. Without Daniels, the line had to be reshuffled with Cole Strange, the former Patriot. And believe it or not, McDaniel praised his work this week. That might be the first sign the team is ready to move forward without Daniels. For the rest of the year, and maybe even longer, the cap situation is ugly too. Daniels' hit jumps from the $0.7 million to $4.9 in 2026, plus nearly $5 million in prorated bonuses. Cutting him would barely save anything unless Miami used a post-June 1st designation, and the team only gets 2 of those a year. It's one of those painful choices. Keep a guy who can't stay healthy or move on from someone who might still rebound. Still, some people think there's more to this story. Maybe something internal is driving the caution. McDaniel seems to be protecting him, while also protecting the team. Maybe the staff is terrified of another setback, or maybe they're already building a new foundation on the line. Whatever the reason, Daniel's long absence forces the Dolphins to rethink how they're keeping to a Tagovailoa upright. And we're not even at the craziest part of the day. If Daniel's situation had fans stressed, the possibility of Darren Waller coming back brought a whole different kind of buzz. Miami got a breather during the Week 12 bye, but several core players were still out, and Waller isn't just another guy. From the moment he arrived, it was obvious he could tilt the field. Just remember that opener against the Jets, 10 catches, 117 yards for touchdowns. A video game kind of night. Then, another pec injury, same spot as Daniels, but the storyline might be heading in a different direction. The coaching staff opened his 21-day practice window, which means the countdown starts now. It doesn't guarantee he plays against the Saints, but the simple fact he's back in pads has fans arguing nonstop about what his return means and who loses snaps. Some people are dreaming of one of the most dangerous offenses in the conference. Others are worried the team will slow down the development of young guys like Dolce and Rucci. That's Miami in a nutshell. Passionate debates where every snap matters. Now look at the chessboard. With Waller and Julian Hill sidelined, the Dolphins had to overhaul the tight end room. What happened next surprised everybody. Daniel Brunskill, an offensive lineman, started showing up as an extra tight end, giving the offense heavier formations and unpredictable looks. That led to Tanner Conner getting bumped to the practice squad, while Hayden Rucci and Greg Dolce grabbed spots on the active roster. And it wasn't just about numbers. Dolce flashed explosiveness as a receiver, and Rucci did the dirty work blocking. So where does Waller fit into all this? The truth is he's not giving you much as a blocker. What he brings is vertical pressure, matchup nightmares, and contested catches in the end zone. You can picture him next to Jalen Waddle lighting up defenses, but without Tyreek Hill right now, Miami is short on big play threats. Could Waller fix that? Absolutely. But does it make sense to cut into the reps of Dolce and Rucci, who earned every bit of their progress? And you can't ignore the physical side. Waller missed 3 early games and another for just now. Fans are wondering if he's really someone you can lean on long-term. Miami needs consistency, and relying on a guy with that injury history is risky. The staff has even tossed around ideas of using Waller strictly in the slot, or pairing him creatively with Dolce, something that would drive defenses crazy. But the issue remains the same. One ball, limited snaps. Meanwhile, nobody is ignoring Brunskill's role. Miami uncovered a hidden weapon by using him as an extra blocker, stabilizing pass protection and reducing predictability. That's a development you can't sacrifice just because of names and resumes. The end of Waller's 21-day window is going to reveal a lot about McDaniel's conviction and how bold this team really is. But hold up, because what comes next is even wilder. Some games just feel like a turning point before they even kick off. This matchup with the New Orleans Saints is one of those. The Dolphins enter Week 13 lighter, rested, riding their first win streak of the season. With an energy that smells like a reset, and to top it off, fade through them a little bonus. Alvin Kamara, the engine of that Saints offense, is dealing with a knee sprain and might not play. Without him, New Orleans looks lost. So the big question is whether this is finally the moment Miami stamps its identity. Because let's be real, when Kamara is on the field, that entire offense changes. He's second in total yards and the only guy on that roster who can turn a harmless dump off into a back-breaking run. Without him, their ground game drops into the basement statistically. 29th in rushing yards, 30th in yards per carry, dead last in rushing touchdowns. 3 touchdowns in 12 weeks. Looks like a preseason stat sheet, but it's not. And this is exactly the kind of weakness Miami's defense needs to attack. Looking at recent games, Miami has to turn this advantage into something tangible. The bye week came at the perfect time, but the inconsistency stopping the run is still a concern. One week it's 170 yards allowed to Washington, then 150 to Baltimore, then only 45 against Atlanta. Total roller coaster. The truth is, this defense looks completely different when it's focused, aggressive up front, and disciplined. Without Kamara slicing up linebackers on short passes and sudden cuts, the Dolphins have a chance to control the game from the jump. And the impact isn't just on the field. This game turned into a psychological checkpoint. Everyone in that locker room knows that 3 straight wins could ignite a playoff push, especially with a friendly closing schedule. McDaniel's message has been clear: no getting caught up in playoff math. Win every snap like it's the whole season, and the vibe in practice backs that up. Reports say this group looks locked in, confident, and hungry to prove they're more than flashes. Meanwhile, the fans are buzzing. Kamara's likely absence is fueling jokes all over social media. The classic "now's the time to stomp them." But there's real caution mixed in. Dolphins fans know this team has a bad habit of underestimating wounded opponents. It's happened before and it never ends well. This is the moment to show maturity, to turn potential into consistency, and honestly, the setup couldn't be better. Extra rest, momentum rising, and a shaky opponent. If the defense comes out with the same fire it showed against Buffalo, and the offense finds rhythm early, this could be a real turning point. The league loves redemption arcs, and maybe one is taking shape right here in Miami. The question is whether this team seizes it or lets it slip again. The next chapter is about to be written, and nobody wants to miss it. After everything, one thing is clear: this Dolphins team is standing right at the edge of a shift between uncertainty, returns, and golden opportunities. Every game from here on out is worth more than just a win. It's about the pride of a fan base that never quits. Daniels might be out, Waller might spark the offense, and the Saints might be the springboard that sets it all off. But now it's your turn, Dolphins fans. Do you believe this is the real start of the run? Drop your thoughts, hit that like button, and subscribe, because this Dolphin season is just heating up.